strikes with the 49ers. This play in January of 1982 is referred to simply as the catch. It would propel Montana to the Super Bowl in the first of his 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Joe Montana, the saga continues. His next goal, a perfect season.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Candlestick Park. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Bay Area. The San Francisco 49ers won the toss. They will be receiving, and that means that Brian Wagner, the Cleveland Browns, is kicking off. And it is Spencer Tillman on the return. And the 49ers will go to work. Montana comes out. Let's look at the offense of San Francisco. Their offensive line is one of the better ones in the National Football League. Their center, Jesse Sabolo, is having an outstanding year, an all-pro year. Backs and receivers. Today, without Roger Craig, possibly limited duty from John Taylor, so Dexter Carter becomes the key to the running game. And when the 49ers go to 3 wide receivers, Carter goes out, Mike Wilson comes in. San Francisco from their own 29-yard line, and Montana comes out throwing, has time complete over the middle. Tight end Brent Jones, 44-yard line, first down. Cleveland's defense. Their front 4 is led by number 92, Michael Dean Perry. Today he'll be all over, up and down the defensive line. Linebackers and secondaries, now they have been a disappointment. When the Browns go to their nickel package, 2 linebackers come out. Tony Blaylock and Stephen Braggs join a secondary that will have to cover one of the finest groups of receivers in the NFL. And Dexter Carter gets the call.
Well, this is a big day for Dexter because after a week ago playing very, very well after a disappointing start, they're going to give the ball to Dexter this week. So Carter's going to have his shot. And if he can fill in, well, then Roger Craig has an able backup.
Bud Carson, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, he is on the hot seat today, no question about it.
Charlie, I'm sure he's glad he's here. This is where he might be able to win. Good conditions, upset the 49ers and go home and sort of refiber their entire organization. But if they lose, we're going to go through the throes of the coach firing. Week after week, those kind of throws. And Bud knows it. He's ready for it. But as of this minute, he thinks they can get it done today.
2nd down and 7. Opening drive of the ball game. Montana again with outstanding protection. It's Jerry Rice, and Rice goes out of bounds inside the 44-yard line of Cleveland. And Frank Minifield was chasing him.
The 49ers using a lot of motion in a close flanker position. And the Browns, I don't think, have practiced against these kinds of formations, this close flanker formations. There's Wright getting a big hit from Minifield, but he comes right off of it and makes the play. Now, that's the sign of a great player. And, of course, Minifield's trying somehow to intimidate Rice right at the beginning.
And it's a first down for the 49ers, 44-yard line of the Browns. Carter, the remaining back. And he shows his quickness in the hole as he picks up 4 as he goes from the 44 to the 40. Now, the tail of the tape. Eric Metcalf for the Cleveland Browns. Dexter Carter for the 49ers. Age the same, height about the same, weight is close. But this year, Eric Metcalf is not having the year that it was expected of him. Look at that, 7 games, 35 rushes, 51 yards. Last week, Dexter had his opportunity. He did an outstanding job.
Yeah, he's got everything going for him, of course. He's got the passing game, good defense, and Eric hasn't had anything going for him. But again, Eric's going to have to prove to the Browns that he can get it done as Dexter's doing.
And here is Dexter. 33-yard line.
He made a miss in the backfield. He just had to totally avoid a guy as he took the ball. It was just a beautiful job. And this is the quickness they thought they had, picking a guy this side in the first round. Now watch as he gets the ball. He's got a trap. He's got to avoid right there. Well, there's the quickness you want. Now it remains to be seen whether he can be a full-time player, whether he can hold the ball with a lot of contact. But as of now, pretty darn good.
And already 3 carries, 14 yards for Dexter Carter on the ground. The methodical 49ers play action fake, no pressure, goes deep, overthrows everybody. Interesting, the deep coverage by Claiborne. When the ball was airborne, I thought we could tell from here that he was overthrown, that he would drop off and go for the interception.
Well, I think the ball was just a little too far for everybody, but what we got is Montana setting everything up with a run, but then he gets a good run fake and comes in with a fake and hides the ball, and meanwhile you get this to the corner, but Claiborne made pretty darn good coverage down that field.
And it is 2nd down and 10. Make a note of that as you take another look. 2nd down and 10. We'll refer back to that in a moment. Montana again with the protection, throws underneath the coverage, 29-yard line, and it is Dexter Carter on the receiving end, a gain of 4.
Art, it's like an art form, isn't it, Charlie?
Yes, it is.
Because everything they've done so far has been just perfectly orchestrated and perfectly executed, coming right down the field. Now you'll see Carter coming out of the backfield, now crossing underneath people, and Grayson tried to make a hit on him earlier, but Carter's just too quick. And it took Gash to come up and make the stop. Cleveland's idea here is to hit those receivers at the line of scrimmage and distort their pass patterns. Thus far, the 49er guys have been able to make the contact but avoid.
Carter's out. Harry Sidney is in. Montana again with all the time in the world, and the pass is incomplete. Brent Jones, the intended receiver.
Well, Perry's a major factor. Michael Dean Perry, 92 in the middle. He's a major factor, and he's going to be coming up the field trying to split people. But you see the 49ers with Harris Barton and Sapolo just nullifying it, stopping him at the line of scrimmage. Now, Perry's got to get inside. Bud Carson wants his defense to get inside on Montana, try to force him out and disrupt the timing.
The opening battle of the ball game has been won by the Browns. They have stopped the 49ers. They force him to a 46-yard field goal attempt. Mike Cofer. Elton with the hold. And it is no good from 46 yards away. We've got a timeout, and we have no score between Cleveland and San Francisco. Charlie Jones along with Bill Walsh. In the newspaper here in San Francisco yesterday, you were quoted as saying the 49ers could have an undefeated season. Now, are they really that good?
Well, I think it's really possible, more so than maybe ever before since Miami, because the competition isn't out there, Charlie. You don't see anybody looming up to stop the 49ers, so they do have an excellent chance.
Cleveland on offense for the first time from their own 29-yard line. Kozar throws, and he opens with a completion. And it is Brian Brennan on the receiving end. The offensive line for the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully now stabilized. Backs and receivers. The Browns are going to concentrate by giving Bernie Kosar better protection. When Cleveland goes to 4 wide, the halfback and tight end come out, and Metcalf and Vernon Joins come in. And right now the chains are going to come out for a measurement.
The Browns are going to have to throw. They're going to come out throwing. Their running game, like the 49ers, hasn't done very much this year. It hasn't helped at all.
Let's take a look now at the 49er defense. Their front seven. Now, this is a group that the Browns are going to have to neutralize, have any hope of winning when the 49ers go to their nickel package. The nose tackle and 2 linebackers come out. Larry Roberts comes in as a pass rusher. Eric Wright and Dave Waymer join that secondary that we will take a look at right after this play. Quickly, there's a look at the secondary. As you saw, it was a first down. Kevin Mack off the right side. The key to that secondary is the return of Ronnie Lott at free safety, and he is back from that hamstring injury, and that is good news.
That is. Dave Waymer, though, has played very, very well. A week ago, I was really impressed. Waymer, much like Lott, both these guys are super hitters, and both former cornerbacks, so they can make the coverage down the field. They can play the ball well, yet they make those big hits. And, of course, Ronnie, unquestionably, the best defensive back of our time.
Second down. Kozar dumps it off, right side, Kevin Mack. Mack to the 50. Mack to the San Francisco 45-yard line, inside the 45 to the 44.
Well, Mack looked like he was in real trouble when he caught the ball. Bernie was in beautiful shape to throw it. Nope, no trouble, but the ball's thrown high and slow, and it looks like, oh, look at this. Rathman slows down, waits, and then goes for the ball late. So he didn't really account for it all the way. Now look at that. Left hand has been a problem for him all year. So Kevin Mack now doesn't have the cast, but at least his left hand is sort of constricted as for catching the ball or holding on to it with his left hand.
5 weeks ago, a broken ring finger. Kozar dropped at the 50. A loss of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15.
The Browns had set up that play pass. They'd run that same wham-type play, you call it, with a tight end blocking inside. Then they faked it. And coming all the way across the field was Brennan, hoping to get open, but the 49ers covered it down the field. Kozar had to hold on to the ball.
And Dennis Brown gets the sack, the rookie drafted in the 2nd round.
You see the fake. Now Kozar still got time, plenty of time. Now the minute he takes his eye off the receivers and looks at the pass rushers, he's in trouble. Come on!
The ball at the 50-yard line. 2nd and 16 officially. Kozar this time with protection. It is complete as he hits Webster Slaughter deep over the middle.
Well, Bernie can still throw the ball. He showed a lot of poise that time. The pass protection was as good as I've seen this year for Cleveland. If it holds up the entire game, they'll be okay. But now you'll see Slaughter coming up the field, coming up inside Don Griffin, breaking sharply away. The ball right on the numbers. That's just where you want to throw it. Ronnie Lott couldn't get there from that weak safety spot. Slaughter is really about 165 pounds. So he's lean and quick, but how he stands the punishment, I really don't know.
3rd down, a little under a yard to go for the 1st down. And Kevin Mack should have it.
That was all Mack. All Mack.
And he just barely got it, too. Fagan and Millen with the tackle. The ball at the 34-yard line of the 49ers.
Mack's had an excellent year. He's been the one guy that stood up to the competition week after week. And in a sense, he was the one guy you'd wonder about. He had a little history of substance abuse and has had to go through some treatments. And you wondered about it with his left hand in a cast. But thus far this year, he's been the mainstay of the ball club.
1st down, 34-yard line, 6:52 time remaining, 1st period, no score. Kozar drops it off. It is incomplete. Everybody was covered deep. He was out of time. He goes to Kevin Mack. And it is 2nd down and 10.
Haley, the key to the 49er defense is Charles Haley. He's on the left of your screen coming up the field, and he does an inside move on Farron, and Farron stays with him. Haley gets caught up in the traffic. But Pierce Holt on the other side of the line really was the guy that forced the pass.
8 sacks, as you can see so far this year, 55 in the last 66 games.
And at 87, only 6 sacks. That was the strike year, so he didn't get to play that much.
Second down. Here is the fake of the reverse. Kozar throws downfield. It is incomplete. Bernie showing a little agility, not known for his agility.
He's fighting for his very life. You know, he can't outmaneuver very many people, if anybody, in the NFL. Now, they're going to fake a run inside. Then they're going to fake a reverse. Then he's going to hide the ball and look to throw a screen over here to Mack, but the 49ers are all over it, and he finally throws downfield to Brennan. But the problem there, Charlie, they got away with linemen downfield because they were trying to throw a screen, and those linemen had released. So the Browns are a little fortunate on that play, but they're shooting the works, no question about it.
3rd down and 10, 34-yard line is San Francisco. The motion man, 3 wide receivers on the right side. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Pierce Holt knocked it down. One of the problems that Bernie has had with that sidearm delivery.
And Ricosi's having a brutal time with Holt. Holt's coming up that field and making it tough on him. The 49ers have excellent people at every position. We talked about it before the game, Charlie. What was it, 20 out of the 22 players that we've rated the 49ers superior, the starting units, 20 out of 22.
Don Wagner is the return man for San Francisco. Excuse me, Don Griffin is the return man. Brian Wagner is the punter. Fair catch is taken at the 10-yard line. We've got a timeout. We have no score. We'll be back in a moment. This is Charlie Jones, Bill Walsh, Candlestick Park, Cleveland Browns, San Francisco 49ers. Now 6:25 left to go in a scoreless first. And San Francisco on offense for the second time in the ballgame. First time they were able to move, and then they missed. Kofer missed the 46-yard field goal. Now they start from their 10.
Well, thus far, Charlie, if there's any edge at all, it's got to be Cleveland.
Rathman, the ball carrier, but Michael Dean Perry with that quick start. And he was in there to disrupt anything. When we talked to him yesterday, I had the feeling that he feels that he can hear better than anybody else. He can pick up the cadence, or he can anticipate.
Well, he's got all kind of explanations.
Number 92, defense lined up in the neutral zone.
Oh, lined up in the neutral zone.
First down.
So he didn't beat the snap. He just happened his helmet over the line. Now watch that ball move and him move. His helmet's over the line, so he is offside. There it is. It's almost spontaneous with that movement. And he says it's the lineman tipping. He says the quarterback's voice. To me, he's such a quick, agile, instinctive athlete. That's what it is. I don't think it's any of those keys. It's just him.
They all leave at the same time. He just gets there. Dexter Carter, the ball carrier. Let's check the 10-minute ticker. These are finals. Miami winning. That's expected. Green Bay over Minnesota. And Buffalo over New England 27-10. Philadelphia had to come from behind to defeat Dallas 21-20. The Jets over Houston 17-12. And Detroit comfortably over New Orleans 27-10. Games that are just starting. Washington Giants no score. Chicago in front of Phoenix, and San Diego in front of Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you, those Jets are playing competitive ball. Bruce Cosley's done a great job of just bringing them along.
Here's Rice. First down at the 34-yard line.
Well, Minifield led him inside, and that's deadly.
Gain of 15 yards.
Minifield was playing just a little bit too far outside of Rice, and that made the difference. You just can't let those people inside that way. Now, Minifield's isolated out here on Jerry Rice. He gives a little ground, and that slant pattern to the inside is going to be open, and that's bread and butter for Montana and Rice. You see it right there on time, perfectly thrown. Those are tough to stop. You almost have to hold Jerry Rice inside out. Don't let him back into the middle. In fact, Bud was talking about that before the game.
Dexter Carter. Carter will get a yard. That's going to be it. It'll be second down and 9. I remember Dexter Carter at the Fiesta Bowl. They have this huge luncheon, this kickoff luncheon, 3,000 people at the luncheon. And I was to interview the Florida State players up on the dais, and there was 3 of them there. And the first one interviewed was Dex. He was so good, I gave him the microphone, turned it over to him. He interviewed himself, then he interviewed the 2 other ball players, and then he thanked everybody and welcomed her. He was fabulous.
He was
I really
the same
enjoyed
way
it.
when we interviewed him last week. He just held court with us. He sort of mesmerized all of us. We sat there and he was storytelling. So it's all there. Let's just hope the size to play the game is there.
Montana to throw. Dumps it off underneath to Rathman. And he reaches to the 45. And that should give him the first down.
That time, Charlie, everybody was handled. There were crossing receivers all over the place. You'll see people coming across the field. They're all covered. But finally, Rathman comes out, and there just isn't anyone there. And so that third receiver, Joe's going to be looking inside at his flanker, then his tight end, and then just throws the ball out to Rathman. By that time, the Browns had just given up on Rathman. They didn't think he was a potential ball carrier.
And Montana continues 5 of 7, 53 yards already. No score. 3:23 and counting time remaining first quarter. And here is Carter, and he is cut off at the line of scrimmage. It will be second down and 10.
He does run small. You know, some guys are
Tell me what you mean by running small.
Well, Dave Maggott runs big. He's powerful, and it could be identical size almost, but I think it's the girth of your bones. But Carter running and Metcalf running, they run small. You hit them and they sort of crunch down. You get Meggett, and he breaks the tackle, and it's hard to explain other than maybe sort of a ballast factor and a big bone structure, and basically about the same size guys.
And neither ball club here, as you can see, the 49ers Browns tied for 27th worst yards as an average rushing in the NFL. And it is second down. Carter's in motion. Rathman swings out of the backfield, just lowers his head and destroys the first Brown to try and get there. I believe, was that Raymond Claiborne?
And Claiborne made a He-Man hit. He made an all-pro hit, which has been doing for 14 years, and it didn't phase Rathman.
Excuse me, it wasn't. It was Bragg.
Was it Bragg?
Bragg's
Okay.
36,
It
yeah.
didn't phase Rathman because he got his shoulder down under the tackle. But this passing game of the 49ers, since its inception many years ago, is sort of a substitute for the run game when necessary, the 45-yard pass. And there's some stats for you. 13 passes, first and 10 from last week, and only 7 from 11 to 19, so they're just throwing the ball in close.
Dexter Carter from the 44 to the 37-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3 as we watch from ground level.
That was a beautifully run play. Guy McIntyre pulls through the hole and gets the inside linebacker. Johnson does a great job that opens it up. McIntyre through the hole, picking up the middle linebacker, and Carter just read it all the way. Now, Guy McIntyre, by the way, number 62, we can talk about him later. He's probably the most quick and agile guard in the league. Very smallish, but a great pulling guard.
Rathman and Sidney are now the back. Sidney's in motion. Rathman stays back to block. Montana with that great vision, looks right, comes back, throws left. It is incomplete. He was going for Sherrard.
And that's Claiborne and Sherrard. That's the confrontation we knew was going to happen. Sherrard, in yesterday's paper.
I have the quote.
Oh, you got it. Okay, there they are. Nice pattern.
Talking about last week's game, Sherrard said Claiborne was 5 yards deep in the end zone when the guy scored the touchdown. I don't know what he was doing. He gives the impression he doesn't want to come up and make tackles. You could possibly leave him alone, block the safety, and it would definitely help the running game. Ooh.
Raymond Claiborne was hot over that.
And not only was he hot, he told us his teammates were hot. We've got a timeout.
He's still after him. He's still after him.
We'll be back. Down in 3. Can the game turn on this play?
Well, it can make a big difference to the Browns because just proving to themselves they can stop the 49ers makes a big difference.
Montana to throw. Incomplete. Rice, the intended receiver, and he was drawing a crowd over the middle. Menifee was there. It will be 4th down and 3, and Perry had the pressure up the middle.
Perry split that middle. He got in between people. Oh, look at that move on Sapola. He comes all the way and makes it tough. The only guy that saves it is McIntyre, but what happened? It disrupted Joe. And meanwhile, Menifee, look how physical he plays this thing. He comes all the way through, right up over the top. So the intensity's there, Cleveland-wise. They just got to stay in the game and hopefully get a score themselves to put the pressure on the 49ers. But in talking with the coaches the last 2 days, all of them, even John Tierlink, the defensive line coach, they knew they had the answer. They knew they had the equation to stop the 49ers if only the players had the will to carry it out.
And the 49ers are going to draw a delay of game as Brent Jones, the tight end, was late coming out. They are going to kick. They may have wanted to take it anyway and give him another 5 yards.
But that won't hurt him.
That won't hurt anything at all.
No, it won't. But at this point, Cleveland's, this is the best they could hope.
Delay of game, offense. The penalty is declined.
They'll decline it, yes. I love that.
Well, this is the best Cleveland could hope at this point.
Yes, they've stopped them twice.
They've stopped them twice. They've moved the ball themselves, and they couldn't ask for more. And if they just have the will to stay with it, they're going to be in the ball game.
And the 49ers, a 2-touchdown favorite coming into the ball game. Barry Helton to kick. Stephon Adams is the return man. And he calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 15, steps forward to the 60. We've got a timeout. We have no score. We'll be back. 09, time remaining first quarter. No score tonight on NBC. Life stories followed by Sunday Night with Larry King. Some great guests, and then the movie Lethal Weapon. Super lineup tonight here on NBC. Right now, it is Cleveland nothing, San Francisco nothing, and the Browns on offense for the second time, this time from their own 16-yard line. And after all of that shifting, Leroy going to be dropped for a loss of about a yard.
Ronnie Lott right down the middle on Horde. Now the Browns are shifting their tight end and their backs to try to get at the linebackers that aren't familiar with playing over the tight end position. So there's a lot of shifting that goes on by the Browns in hopes to get the wrong personnel to get it done. So you'll see that these people are all shifting around, and right here now you have a basic set to attack this side of the field. But Ronnie Lott just comes right up into the play and makes a stop.
Second down, Mack is in trouble, reverses, and he is going to lose 3 yards back to the 12.
Well, Mack's got to be more decisive. He just can't string it out there. This just isn't any other team they're playing. The 49ers go to the ball, and Mack was going to try to outweight the blockers and the defenders, and he got trapped.
And we are coming now to the official end of the first quarter. It is Cleveland nothing and San Francisco nothing. Fox 10-minute ticker. Miami wins, Green Bay wins, and Buffalo wins. Philadelphia coming from behind over Dallas. The Jets upset Houston, and Detroit wins. Giants in front of Washington 7-0. Chicago in front of Phoenix, and San Diego now scoring their second touchdown, leading Tampa Bay 14-0. And for Tampa Bay, Gary Anderson's return to San Diego. First time that he has been there since joining the ball club after staying out last year.
It looks like San Diego week to week is getting better and better.
Yes, they are.
They'll still have a big loss or two where they're embarrassed. But week after week, they get just a little better, and they'll be a force by the time it's over.
Tolliver is still learning. He's the quarterback. Kozar from the shotgun. Pressure from the outside. Oh. And the corner blitzes, and Bernie is taking a beating.
Well, Bernie had a chance there. Eric Wright completely lost his man. And the corner came from the outside, and Bernie knew it would be a foot race or even an arm race because he was going to get somebody coming at him from the outside. Here you'll see Pollard coming from the outside. Bernie's got a man free. He's trying to get rid of the ball, and he just misses his target because Eric Wright was beaten clean on the other side of the field.
And Larry Roberts, back off of that hamstring and shoulder injury, making his debut this season, putting pressure from the right side. Wagner to kick. Don Griffin is the return man. The 49ers will have excellent field position. He takes it at the 47-yard line to the 40, down to the 37-yard line. Next Sunday on NBC, a great football doubleheader. Raiders at Kansas City. Tell me, are the Raiders for real?
They're for real, but Kansas City is too. And at home, Kansas City can be especially tough. That's as big a game as they'll be this year in the AFC.
That'll go to almost all of the country. Second half of the doubleheader, Houston Rams, Buffalo, Cleveland, San Diego, Seattle. And NFL Live. Oh, yes. O.J. Simpson had a visit with Bo Jackson. That'll be on the air next week. Look forward to that one. Interesting man.
Back to this game, you know, this is the critical part for Cleveland. 49ers with field position are brutal. They're really tough.
Tips. Incomplete. Jones, the intended receiver, the tight end. Mike Johnson was there for the Browns.
This is as well, at this point, this is as well defensed as the 49ers have been, I think, this year. At this point, we're just getting the game started. But the Browns are reading those patterns very, very well.
We mentioned again it is 2nd and 10. Now, the reason that I mentioned 2nd and 10, remember I mentioned it earlier, second time in the ballgame, because Bud Carson of the Browns told us that they tried to put together a 2nd and 10 reel of the 49ers, and they couldn't find any 2nd and 10 plays. They are so effective on first down.
They're 2nd and 3 so often, it puts all the heat on the defense.
Carter's in motion. Montana again with all the time in the world.
Oh, he threw that one away. He wanted to throw to his right that time, and that was, again, very well defensed and physically defensed by Cleveland. And Montana looked back to the offside. You know, you'll see this pattern and this one, and watch how Cleveland stops him, and finally he tries to go down the field, but it was finally a throwaway. But look at Montana throw right. Those things are handled beautifully, and now he just throws the ball away. So far, Cleveland can take a lot of pride, their coaches can, in a game plan.
Third offensive possession for the 49ers. They have been shut out so far, and it is 3rd down and 10. Rathman's in motion. Montana rolls right, throws, first down. Jerry Rice. Montana, when he rolls, will always roll to the right.
Virtually every time. We never wanted him going left because that's when the quarterback's most vulnerable. But what they wanted is get Montana as close as they could to Rice running this comeback pattern, then hit him right along the sideline. So they start Montana back, sprint him in that direction, then hit the deep out to Rice, and Minifield, being in one-on-one coverage, was sort of in a hopeless position.
And he lost his footing, so slipped on the grass. The field here is in great condition. In fact, Kozar said, I've got to go to longer cleats, as he told us yesterday. I have to go to longer cleats today because of the grass being in such great shape. And here's Dexter Carter inside to the 19-yard line. Gain of 4, second down and 6. After the last offensive series for the 49ers, this is what was going on the sideline.
Yeah, that's Alabama, the running back coach. And what he's trying to do is talk to Carter about cutting that running play to the outside using his speed. Now, this is a little different play than he just ran, but they wanted to stretch the defense and break outside. And, of course, Roger Craig, that is his bread and butter.
And Roger Craig in the civilian clothes, inactive, still coming off of that knee injury. 49ers just want to make sure. Carter comes inside again. They'll mark it around the 16, maybe the 17-yard line.
The penetration inside by that Cleveland front is sort of disrupting those pulling guards. You see Harris Barton knocked off course immediately with that penetration. He was trying to pull to the other side of the field. He couldn't get there.
Carter now 9 carries, 32 yards.
It is so tough in this situation to sort out receivers. Third down and about 4. With Montana's accuracy, so tough to sort out receivers as they try to use pick-type plays to get the ball thrown in there. Oh.
And Michael Dean Perry. Now the question is, was there motion and was he pulled off?
Encroachment foul. Number 92. First down. Defense. First down.
It was third down and 5. And it will be a first down. They'll mark it to the 13-yard line.
Perry is quick, but and he depends heavily on beating people to the punch. Twice now, though, it's backfired on him.
Montana, of course, will change his cadence. How do you work on that?
Oh, sure. You just talk about it. You see it in the film with a guy jumping like that. So you hold the count. It might be 1, 2. You might go 1 and then hold it, then say 2. In the meantime, he's anxious and jumps. Oh,
Carter is met right in the hole by the man, Michael Dean Perry.
By the way, when we talked about 2 Cleveland players being able to match up with the 49ers, Michael Dean Perry is clearly the best defensive lineman in the game today. You see him cross the face of Guy McIntyre and Sapolo and make that big stop. And, of course, the other person would be Frank Minifield, the corner, who would be one of the better corners. But the other 20 players, the 49ers have a superior group. Man-to-man, better.
But Cleveland really playing well today.
They are.
Second and 11. Sherrard is the motion man out of the backfield. Montana just looping it to Rice. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Well, the Browns finally decided to blitz. Now, Rice wanted to run a slant, but when he was cut off by Minifield, he just broke back to the outside automatically, and Montana threw it over the top. The first time that the Cleveland Browns decide to blitz heavily, Montana hits them for a 6.
14 yards on the touchdown pass. Rice now 4 receptions, 52 yards, and the TD. His 9th of the season. And the extra point is good. The score, 49ers 7, Cleveland nothing. Montana looking for that undefeated season of 16-0. His number is 16, and he just threw his 16th touchdown pass of the season.
Charlie, that particular pass, I wonder how many times they've worked together and hit that thing. Where Jerry Rice wants to run a slant and breaks it back into a go pattern.
The ball fell off of the tee. You try everything. You get ready for every possibility, and the ball falls off the tee.
Oh, boy.
Now.
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
Oh, gee.
Well, a little. I was looking to see if the flag's showing. Yeah, there's wind in Candlestick, but there's always wind in Candlestick.
Yeah. It's been a lot worse than this. I can vouch for that. And you'd like to think it's a home field advantage, but because it isn't. Because it confuses you more each year that you're here, the more that you can't figure out why the hell it happens.
And this field is the Bill Walsh field.
Oh, it is.
That's
I don't
right,
know what
that's
that
right.
means. It's Candlestick Park, but the Bill Walsh field, I don't know what that means other than somebody has to cut the grass.
Here's Eric Metcalf from the 10. Looks for a block and returns across the 25-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, immediately we see a blitz coming, and you'll see a man in motion, and that will tell Joe Montana if the blitz is really there. You see it right there, and you'll stop it, and there's the defender, and here come the blitzers. Now, Jerry Rice wants to run a slant. He can't make it. Minifield cuts him off. He releases outside, and Montana hits him for the touchdown. So Montana knew the blitz was coming by the man in motion. The blitzers came. They didn't even have to be blocked. He just hit Rice right up over the top.
Cleveland trailing 7-0. First down at their own 25-yard line. Kozar to throw. And completes the pass at the 29 to Eric Metcalf. Matt Millen is there to wrap him up immediately.
Matt Millen's made the big move from the Raiders to the 49ers. He's much like Jack Reynolds, just an intense guy, but also a charismatic and a charming guy that really attracts other people.
And when we talked to him yesterday, he said, I'm still a Raider. You know, you crack, you scratch, and you kick, and you stick the fingers in, and you talk about it. He said, now when I came to the 49ers, I didn't know if I could play this kind of football. He says, now I can. I just go play the game.
Just play the game. And it's a little different. We can visit about that.
Kevin Mack stopped by Michael Carter. And let's go back to playing the game the San Francisco way.
Well, Millen related it to us. One year we played them in a preseason game, and Ron Ferrari, one of our special teams players, came up to Millen on a kickoff return, and Millen was trying to cover the kickoff, hit him from the side, knocked him down, and to Millen that meant fight. That meant war. That means clear the benches, let's go to work. Meanwhile, Ferrari just sprinted off the field, smiling. And so Millen found that that's maybe more the way the 49ers play. Knock somebody down and make them wonder who the hell did it.
Third down and 6. Kozar from the shotgun has the completion and a fumble. And the 49ers have the ball. Ronnie Lott. Eric Davis jarred it loose, and Lott recovered it.
Excellent play on the part of Cleveland until the receiver was hit. Now you see right there, nice catch. Control that ball. There's a big hit from the side, knocking it loose. And Ronnie Lott is always near the ball. That's why he gets so many of these fumbles.
And we'll be back.
Eric Davis, Webster Slaughter, both slightly built men, but Davis catches him from behind. He doesn't know he's there. And, of course, Ronnie Lott, always going right to the ball, is there to pick up the fumble. How many times in his 10 years has he done that?
And a first down at the Cleveland 41-yard line. Will Montana go deep immediately?
Well, he's changing the play.
Mike Sherrard. Let's check the late scores on the 10-minute ticker. The Giants now lead Washington 14-0, headed for that showdown with San Francisco on December the 3rd. Chicago up 14-0, and Tampa Bay has scored, and the margin is 7. The Chargers lead it.
I'll tell you, Chicago's for real, too. They just get better each week. They're doing a beautiful job, the coaches are, with that young team.
Second down and 3.
Now, this is an audible.
And knocked away. Chris Pike at 6'8" and 300 pounds just went up and slapped it down.
Chris Pike, what a character that is. I remember Chris Pike in our office when he was coming out of Tulsa University. Now, he'll jump right up in the air here. Joe Audible, he saw single coverage, but look at that big guy. He's a mighty big guy, and he's 6'8", about 300 pounds. But at Tulsa, Charlie, he only played 2 or 3 games. Really, 1 game made Chris Pike a pro. Knee surgery, transfers from North Carolina State, never played, but in 1 game he made like 5 sacks at Tulsa, and that made him a pro. Off that game, everybody got interested.
They're down in 3. Montana comes back to the tight end, Brent Jones, and has the first down. Everything was shut off on the right side, and then he got away from Michael Dean Perry and came back to the left side.
Well, Perry will make a big play, but Jones on the back side of the play checks. Watch Montana avoid him right there real quick, then throws on the move. McIntyre picking up. But Jones is waiting to pick up a blitzer. Then he's just an outlet out there. And with his fine hands, he just pivots and makes the play. Jones is another character. His dad, Mike Jones, was a quarterback at San Jose State when I played. And he wanted his son, Brent, to be a quarterback, so he threw in the ball over and over all through his childhood. Made Brent a great receiver.
Well, he thought he was making him a great quarterback.
He thought he was making him a great quarterback.
Little play action fake all alone. And the pass is incomplete. Sherrard had at least 5 yards on either side of him. That was just real estate.
Just real estate. They didn't account for him in their zone defense, crossing from way over on the other side of the field. And Joe is going to fake a run play here. You see the fake. And then Sherrard, you can see it right across the field. There he is, deep in the hole there. And Joe figures he can run to it, and he just can't quite make it, but a foot off. But the 49ers are just getting Cleveland, at this point, off balance. Just slightly off balance.
And a credit to the Browns offense, as it is 2nd down and 10. And this is the 4th time in the ballgame that has been 2nd down and 10, so they have cut off some of the effectiveness of the 49ers on 1st down. And here's Rathman. The ball comes loose, but the play was already dead. Now we'll have a flag downfield. This is a major mistake by Tony Blaylock. Blaylock turned around and threw the ball. The play had been blown dead. You could hear the whistles up here, so you know you could hear them on the field. And he throws the ball at the 49er. Now, there's no sense in the world to do that, and it's just going to hurt your ball club.
Well, this is a frustrated, almost hateful team. They're demoralized in one sense because they're not getting a lot of support from given people. Now, you see this.
Defense. Half the distance. First down.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But that's a frustrated team, and it's a little bit out of control. And it's unfortunate because they've been playing pretty darn good football.
Throwing it at Bubba Paris, who is 6'6". They listed as 299. I hear he's in the neighborhood of 340.
At least 350.
Yeah, 350.
But what a target for Blaylock.
Yes, you can hit the target.
What part will I hit? But
I would think you'd look at him and say, I don't want to hit any part of it.
Right. Maybe he thought I can outrun him.
So with the penalty, the ball goes to the 12-yard line, and it is 1st down.
This could be the beginning of the end unless they can get something done right here.
Good play for Cleveland. Rathman is down. And now the pushing and shoving contest is starting to break out at different isolated places around the field.
That time, right, Steve Wallace pulled, and Mike Johnson and Steve had a confrontation. Cleveland just can't lose their poise. They've got some good things going for them. Their plan is good.
They played
can't
well,
lose
yes.
their poise.
2nd and 11.
And this is Bud's arena, too. Bud Carson, one of the real technicians in the game. And he's been expected to be a technician, and meanwhile sort of fight off the throws of the firing of a coach that he's going through.
Jamie Williams, the tight end, is the motion man. Montana throws. One-handed grab by Brent Jones. And he is out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Well, there are Jones' hands. He just reached out for it. Now he's coming across on a shallow crossing pattern. There it goes, right in front of you. And Clay Matthews is trying to cover him and trips. But then you see that catch. Good tackle by Gash to save the touchdown.
Art Modell, owner-president of the Browns. Ball at the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st down and goal to go. Jones, 3 receptions, 32 yards.
Well, I'm sure Art Modell has got a great knowledge of professional football, but not any more than Bud on how to stop this offense.
Here's Rathman into the end zone.
You have to move the ball on the 49ers. In that first series, Cleveland did, but since they really haven't after that fumble, you've got to move the ball on them, and you can't give them field position like that. I can remember Super Bowl 19 over at Stanford, Miami giving us field position 4 straight series and us scoring 4 straight touchdowns. When I say field position, getting the ball around the 50, Charlie, where you can really open up.
Extra point is good. 49ers lead it 14-0. Loss 6:34 time remaining in the first half. That scoring drive of 41 yards in 8 plays. It started with Ronnie Lott in the fumble recovery for the fumble of Webster Slaughter. And Mike Kofor kicks off. Metcalf takes it at the 7 to the 20. And he'll end up around the 23 or the 24-yard line. Today on NFL Live, these were the headlines. Bill Walsh, and this is what you said, the Browns need to win today or play well against the 49ers to save Carson's job. And they have almost done that. Dexter Manley, well, McDonough reports that Manley has tested clean over his drug banishment. And the Vikings kicker might be indicted for drug trafficking as early as tomorrow. The big story on NFL Live, if you had a chance to watch it, is that Bob Costas lost complete control. O'Shea and Will took over. It was hysterical. Really a good show today. Kozar, a play-action fake, and Charles Haley with his 9th sack of the year.
Haley comes up the field, and Kozar is expected to avoid him. Now, that's a play that's very common in football, that bootleg. Haley comes inside, and Kozar's just not quick enough to beat him. Even though he has sort of an angle on Haley, he can't get out around him. A lot of quarterbacks could have made that play. Bernie really couldn't. Bernie can do a lot of things, but just the kind of thing to avoid one of the great pass rushers can't be done.
Second time in the game that Kozar has been sacked. He has now been sacked 22 times on the year. And it's 2nd and 18. And he is sacked at the 11.
They had Haley bouncing around in the middle, and then he came over the right guard, offensive right guard position, but he was blocked. You'll see him coming up inside, and Rakosi picks him up pretty well. He's in pretty decent shape. But on the left side, Tam is pushed back into Bernie. It wasn't really the sacker. It was the offensive lineman that caused the problem, with Kevin Hagan just shoving his man right back into the quarterback.
So it'll be 3rd down and 23.
So much of pass protection isn't just blocking your man, it's keeping your body clear of the passer, so you don't confine him too much.
But what also is happening here is that the Browns have to kick the 49ers once again with excellent field position. Deep over the middle, and it is incomplete. Off-post intercepted. Ronnie Lott was going for the interception. Brennan, the intended receiver. Slaughter was also deep. It'll be 4th and 23. And Don Griffin, with any kind of a return, will give the 49ers great field position. And remember that Wagner has had 4 kicks blocked this year.
That's really a telltale problem. He has 4 kicks blocked out of 36 this year. It's a good punt there.
Great punt. And is recovered by Griffin. 49ers have the ball. We've got a timeout, and we'll be back.
58-yard punt from his own end zone. A beautiful punt over the head of Don Griffin. And this is the bounce of the game. You know, Charlie, there's luck in football, and this is it. Because if Cleveland gets that ball, they're back in it. And that may be, in a sense, a turning point for a season. One little play like that.
Stephon Adams was that close. 49ers first down, their own 31. Dexter Carter met at the line of scrimmage, lowers himself even lower, and picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Let's check the late games. Giants now, Phil Simms 2 touchdown passes, 14-0 over Washington. Chicago continues to roll 21-0. San Diego adds a field goal. They lead Tampa Bay by 10. And here it is San Francisco 14 and Cleveland nothing with 4:22 time remaining in the first half.
Well, any more points by the 49ers might just spell absolute disaster for Cleveland.
Jerry Rice in motion out of the backfield. Montana looks right. Pump fakes, he's in trouble, and he is sacked. First time that the Browns have gotten to it.
Well, there's the man, Michael Dean Perry. He is clearly the best defensive lineman on this field today, and he makes a beautiful spin move against Guy McIntyre right there. And boy, does he beat him. Now, the two of them played in college. One at Clemson, Perry, McIntyre at Georgia. They were head-to-head against each other 2 straight years, so they know each other very, very well, although they really haven't met or ever visited. And Perry was saying how much he respected McIntyre's quickness, but there's one case where he was quicker than even one of the quickest guards in football.
Mike Wilson now in as a wide receiver for the 49ers. 3rd down and 16. And here is the draw, and it almost works. Dexter Carter stopped by Rob Burnett.
Perry was going to run up the inside with a line stun. I think he had another man coming around him, but he's blocked very, very well there by McIntyre. So McIntyre gets beat on the pass protection, and he blocks Perry beautifully on the run.
Now let's go back to that 58-yard punt by Brian Wagner. What he has set up is the possibility now for Cleveland with any kind of a kick return to have good field position.
Even 3 points here, even 3 points would make a big difference, Charlie, because they could leave the field and really concentrate on that second half.
Terrible punt. And Stephon Adams just gets a short return. Johnny Jackson was there. Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the premiere of NBA basketball on NBC. League MVP Magic Johnson along with James Worthy. Byron Scott lead the Lakers into San Antonio to battle David Robinson. NBA season premiere next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, only on NBC. We were talking, we had an interview with Magic Johnson during the last Raider game at halftime for about 3 minutes. And he lights up a room. He is so nice. I really enjoy visiting with him. He's a very special person, and we're very pleased that the NBA, including Magic, are going to be on NBC. Inside handoff to Kevin Mack.
Well, the one thing you don't want is to give the ball back to the 49ers again. They're deadly in the last seconds of a half or the last minute of a half.
And a hurry-up offense.
Yeah.
Trying to catch the 49ers. They're not in that big of a hurry. Kozar from the shotgun. Far side. Pass is complete. Good fake coming back in by Metcalf. Now, this is one of the elements that has been missing in the offense of the Browns, and that is Metcalf being able to make the key play.
Well, he's good in space. Eric's good in space. I visited with him this morning getting on the bus. He just wants the ball in the open where he can make those kinds of moves.
Now at the 49er 49, we've got whistles.
I believe Eric will sooner or later, Metcalf will sooner or later be a wide receiver. Who was that great player for Baltimore, the great wide receiver? Lenny Moore. That's the kind of
San
player.
Francisco, second charge, timeout.
And we have a timeout. 49ers have the lead, 14-0. It may ring again, yes. Brennan's in motion. A little underhand toss to Kevin Mack. And Mack breaks it down the sideline.
Ronnie Lott saved it, but that was a beautifully designed play against that defense, so you knew the offensive coaches had something up their mind. They got both people outside, Rakosi outside, Jones pulling, and got around that corner. Very, very well done.
And a gain of 17 yards to the 32-yard line. And we're moving on the 2-minute mark, time remaining first half. Kozar will not get the playoff. This is the 2-minute warning. 49ers lead it 14-0. We'll be back in a moment. Leading by 2 touchdowns. When we talked with Bernie Kozar yesterday, he said things are getting a little rough. Said Mom has always done all of my mail. He says, now I've even got to screen the mail that I get before Mom answers it
Can't
for
even
me.
let her see it.
Kozar with time goes deep. They're going to rule it incomplete.
He was knocked out of bounds. I know that.
And
Pushed
a
out of
flag is
bounds.
down.
So it could be their pass interference at that point on the field if that ball was in the air.
I think you're right. That's
He
going
was
to be the
being
call at the
shoved, Charlie.
5.
He really was.
And I believe it was Eric Davis that had the cover.
Now that was a screen pass that Ernie wanted to throw. So if this worked, it was a screen pass, and Kozar couldn't get the screen. It was covered. He threw downfield.
Now you heard that he said he was being pushed, that he had been pushed out of bounds. That's Webster Slaughter that said that he was pushed out of
No
bounds.
touching of a forward pass. The eligible receiver went out of bounds, came back in, and was first to touch the forward pass. It's a loss of down penalty. Loss of down.
You know, the trouble with this play, how does he know he was out of bounds? Now there's grabbing and pushing all the way up the field by Davis.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he steps out.
So that's a tough rule. That's tough for the player themselves. They don't know their line.
No, not really, because the penalty is just a loss of the down, so it goes like an incomplete
Oh, I
pass.
see. Thank you.
That's all right.
See, on the sideline,
I
I've
do
been
the one. I know
screaming
you
at
don't.
the official.
You're too busy screaming it.
I could have used you.
No,
for
see, this
10 years.
goes as a loss, so it's all right. And it's 2nd and 10 back at the 32. Almost a great play.
There's a blitz inside.
And the pass is complete to the 20-yard line, first down. A gain of 12.
Now, really, Cleveland doesn't have to be in a big hurry. They're a minute 39 seconds. Plenty of time if he's going to throw the ball. So, no need to be in a big hurry. Just methodically get the job done at this point.
Cleveland trailing 14-0. If they could cut the margin to 7, Mack is stopped right in the hole. His momentum will carry him for a couple of yards, but Pierce Holt was there.
Pierce is so tough. Holt is so tough inside on a guard. Between him and Fagan, it's very tough for guards to handle them by themselves. So Rakosi that time was simply beat.
Question. Now, the Browns have not been able to mount any kind of a running offense. Why waste a play running down here? Why not go on throw?
Well, those guys were coming up the field so fierce that I guess he thought he could get a man past them with a draw play. You'd like to trap that rather than man block it. And the Browns tried to man block it, and their guards just couldn't stand up to those two defensive tackles of the 49ers.
It'll go for 1, so it'll be 2nd down and 9. The ball outside the 19-yard line.
Well, if they've got anything, this is it right now.
This is the time to use it.
They may not get back again for a while. And to get off this field 14-7, that would be almost a victory for the Browns.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And with a couple of isolated moments, Cleveland has played very well.
Yeah.
All that you could expect them to do.
Exactly.
Metcalf's in motion. Kozar's pass. They're going to rule it, I believe, incomplete. Let's see. Now they're marking it at the 12-yard line. And Cleveland wants to hurry and get the play off before it's reviewed. They mark the pass complete.
Clock is running. We're down to a minute.
Now the umpire steps in and says we're going to review it. Now there was a loss in game time.
Right.
There was a loss in game time of, I'm guessing, 12 seconds or so that really should be put back on the game clock if they're going to review it.
If they're going to do that, they should give them their time back.
Yes, they should.
Because they're up there trying to get the ball snapped.
Yes.
He comes underneath. Davis, nice move. Beautiful move by Brennan. Coming inside. There's
Slaughter.
the ball.
Yep.
Is that Slaughter?
That's Slaughter.
Oh, it looks, oh boy, that's a tough one.
Ooh.
Hard to say.
Let's take another look.
Just it's hard to say right at the end whether the hands collapsed it or the ground saved
The ground saved it,
Yeah.
or if he got his
right
arms underneath it. My first impression when I saw it live was that he did not have it.
That looks good.
There it is. Now.
There. Boy.
No, I think it's the ground. I think
No.
he traps it. I think they will overrule it. But if they do, they ought to put some time back on the clock. I mean, what's fair is fair.
It's fair, right?
Oh, yes.
Especially when you're down 14.
It's so easy to make the calls
and
up here.
Bud's got his future right in his
That's right, yes.
whatever. Boy. he's handling himself beautifully, fully composed, at least during the game. Some of the press conferences haven't been.
Yeah, but he
composed.
was yesterday when we talked to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he realizes the situation.
Well, he and I spent 2 hours together last night, just sort of socializing. I think naturally he wants someone to talk to, and I think he's taken a.
We have a reversal on the play. The pass is ruled incomplete. Incomplete.
Now, if the pass was incomplete, the clock is stopped with the incompletion. They should put that time back.
They took too much off that clock before they got in the process.
They should put time back on the clock.
I don't think they are. Do you?
Well, I hope they do.
Yeah, I don't know if they have that facility or not.
Sure they do.
Oh, maybe they are.
Now, maybe that's what, I hope that's what the discussion is here, because they should.
Yeah. Now, Charlie, do they kick a field goal, or do they try to get a touchdown?
Well, they got one more play.
Yeah, say they get 7 yards here. 4th and 3.
Let me tell you something. They're spotting it at the wrong spot. It was outside the 19, between the 19 and the 20. They've now spotted it at the 21, and they have cost Cleveland somewhere between 12 and 15 seconds on the game clock. They ought to spot it correctly, and they ought to get the game clock correct.
Right. This happened, what, Monday night?
Officiating has really been on the, it's been very poor this year. You know, that's the only way to describe it.
There's a lot.
Another example.
My big concern, of course, is we've visited many times is about this, the brutality in the game, the violence. But
see the ball? The ball is between the 19 and the 20.
Yeah.
Now it's ruled incomplete. Now, if we only had the game clock in there, we would be able.
He spotted at the 19.5-yard line.
That's correct. 19.5. They got that part of it right. Now, if it's incomplete, they should put time back on the game clock. I think we're going to lose that one.
Yeah, we may lose that.
25 second count. 25 seconds.
Okay.
Now they put 25 second on the play clock, the 25-second clock.
Okay, Bernie.
Well, we're here to help.
Here comes the blitz.
Right up the middle. Has to get rid of it. And it's incomplete. Ooh, very close to pass interference.
Eric Wright was tested out there that time. Slaughter had a little edge on him, and you couldn't see from our vantage point what was going on over there, but boy, were they battling.
Oh. Slaughter wants pass interference. 2 flags are down. This may take him out of field goal range for that display, because you're not going to get that call, and you've hurt the team again.
Oh, well, there's that frustration.
Yes.
When you're...
But Wright grabbed his face mask. I think he really has a legitimate gripe. All right.
He's
now
pushing him all over the field.
And he got the face mask
there
right
it is.
there.
Look at that.
Oh, yes, you've got to.
You've got to.
The official was on.
Foul. Number 84, Cleveland.
Look at this. He's got him by the face mask. Look at that.
Now their official is screened off. You can see him. He was behind him, but the official from across the field should have picked it up. He can't see it.
You had to see that helmet being turned.
Yeah. And the penalty now against Webster Slaughter, you know, for his display, which he cannot afford. That's a luxury you cannot have.
Well, Eric, bless his heart, he's one of my players, but he was pushing all the way down the field. Then he grabbed the face mask.
It's a fake. It's a 53-yard fake. Pagel, the holder, is the quarterback. He's in trouble. Now he's just going to throw it up. It has the man open at the 20. That was the original line of scrimmage not too long ago. And the Browns will come up short of the first down.
Was it a fake? I don't believe it was a fake. I think it was fumble, and they automatically have a play. Now, the fumble, the snap was bad.
They fumbled it last Monday night on us now.
The snap was bad, and now he's starting to move, and as a quarterback, he knows where to go with the ball.
He got away from Larry Roberts. And that was Jeff Corrick, who is the kicker who has the reception.
Yeah, now he's going to move. Initially, the kicker, Corrick, was wide open, but Pagel didn't look quite soon enough.
Well, he was busy running for his life from Roberts, yes. And meanwhile, San Francisco now will just run out the clock.
Well, everything happens when it's going poorly, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, that should have been pass interference.
Yeah.
At least that was a personal foul, really, the grabbing of that face mask.
Should have been right at the 1-yard line with an opportunity to score to make it 14-7.
When it's going bad, it's going bad, and that's what's so tough on the coaching staff to break out of that.
It's halftime. San Francisco leads it 14-0. And now the man in control in New York, here's Bob Costas. Bob?